Imagine a place so hostile, so barren, so lifeless, that the locals called it the Sea of Death. Now imagine that same desert, turning green, growing forests, feeding thousands, producing clean energy, and lifting entire villages out of poverty. And here's the plot twist that sounds almost impossible. This miracle didn't begin with a billion-dollar machine. It began with a tiny rabbit. This is the unbelievable story of how China used one of the world's most problematic animals to reverse one of the planet's most dangerous deserts. Australia calls rabbits a curse. Farmers shoot them on sight. Governments spend millions just to control them. But China took the same problem animal and used it to pull off one of the greatest environmental comebacks in human history. A desert that was dying of people who were leaving, and a solution no scientists ever predicted: rabbits, willows, and pure human genius. This is the wild story of how a small creature turned a dead land into a blooming paradise. For decades, a desert in China grew larger every year, swallowing villages, burying farmland, and destroying lives. Nothing stopped it. Not trees, not technology, not money. Then one man tried something so strange, so unbelievable. People laughed at him. He planted trees in patterns. He shaped the sand. And then he released thousands of rabbits into the desert. Everyone thought he'd lost his mind. But what happened next changed the desert forever. The Kubuqi Desert wasn't just a patch of sand. It was a living monster growing by 500,000 acres every year. Homes disappeared under dunes. Farms became wasteland. Families packed up and left because survival was impossible. The wind carried sandstorms for miles, cutting visibility, destroying crops, and turning blue skies into a yellow haze. Experts said the desert wasn't stoppable. The government spent decades fighting it, but every effort failed. This wasn't just an environmental problem. It was a human crisis. Then came Wang Wenbiao, a man who grew up in poverty on the edge of this desert, where others saw endless sand. He saw opportunity, invested his own money he barely had to buy useless desert land. People thought he'd gone mad. They told him you can't plant hope in sand. But Wang didn't want to plant hope. He wanted to plant willow trees. He arranged dried shrubs in perfect geometric squares like a giant chessboard to protect young saplings from the brutal desert winds. Inside each square he planted willows that could push roots 300 feet deep into the earth. Slowly, very slowly, green began to appear. But he had no idea how big this experiment would become. After 3 years, the willows finally started thriving. But a new problem appeared. Willow trees need constant pruning for their trunks to grow thick and strong. Pruning thousands of trees in the desert. Too expensive, too slow, too exhausting. Wang needed workers. Tiny, tireless workers who would do the job for free. Enter Rex rabbits. Not wild rabbits. A special breed with ultra-soft fur, luxury grade, and a strange obsession with eating fresh willow shoots. What humans couldn't do, the rabbits did naturally. And perfectly. This accidental idea triggered a chain reaction that nobody in China or the world expected. Once the rabbits were introduced, the magic really began. Rex rabbits weren't just eating willow shoots, they were reshaping the ecosystem. 3 roles at once. Natural pruners, the rabbits ate young, thin branches, forcing the willow trunks to grow thicker and stronger. Fertilizers on legs, their droppings enriched the sand, turning barren soil into fertile land. Seed spreaders, grass seeds, survived digestion and were planted across the desert in their manure. Within a few years, what was once endless sand began to sprout life. Grass returned. Trees grew tall. And the desert slowly became a self-sustaining ecosystem. Wang didn't stop there. He hired bulldozers to level dunes, dig pits, and prepare the land for more willow trees. Local families were given rabbits to farm. Impact: thousands of small farms emerged. Millions of rabbits were sold annually. Farmers earned incomes previously unimaginable. People who once fled the desert now thrived in it. What was a sea of death had become a garden of life. Then came a game-changing addition. The world's largest solar panel image, sprawling 6,000 acres, shaped like a running horse. These panels did more than generate electricity. They blocked sunlight from the ground, slowing evaporation. Grass grew beneath them, feeding the rabbits. The combination of rabbits and panels created a perfect eco-economic loop: clean energy, fertile land, and a thriving rabbit fur industry. The same species Rex rabbits can be a disaster or a miracle. Australia, a wild, uncontrolled environment, no predators, unlimited breeding gives ecological havoc. China, controlled environment, regulated population. Rabbits perform specific tasks, both ecosystem and economy benefit, same animal, different outcomes. Today, 33% of the Kubuqi Desert is green again. Villages flourish, farms thrive, and thousands of people earn a living from sustainable practices. Scientists around the world now call this the eco-economic revolution. Half of the world's deserts could potentially be restored. The model combines ecology, economy, and innovation. It's scalable, replicable, and profitable. The desert that was dead for decades is now a living example of what human ingenuity and nature working together can achieve. All it took was a man with a vision, a small population of rabbits, smart use of trees and natural processes, from the sea of death to a garden of life. Kubuqi Desert is proof. Even the harshest, most hopeless land can be revived when humans and nature work together. And that, my friend, is how a tiny rabbit became the unlikely hero of a global ecological miracle.